I really am excited by getting to do that, by getting to stand there every single night, kind of naked, emotionally, and
You're doing it naked?
yeah, yeah, the matinees.
Oh, all right.
You know, for the other people.
We got to sell tickets, man.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. Bobby Cannavale, Neil Patrick Harris, and James Corden are returning to Broadway in the Tony Award-winning play Art, and I caught up with them during a break in rehearsal. When I saw this announced, I was like, what a perfect team to bring Art back to Broadway. How excited are the three of you?
Very. Yeah. Well, it's the first question you ask, right? When they say, hey, what do you think of the play Art? That's a great play. Who's the three guys? Who are the three guys? Who are the three guys? Who are the three guys? Because, it's one of those experiences you will never forget who you saw it with. You never will forget it. I wish I could have seen that original London production with Albert Finney and Tom Courtenay and Ken Stott. But I did see the original production here in New York, and those guys are legends, right? And so you would hope to be one of the people to get asked to do it because they're great roles. And the play is, it's a comedy, but it's not really written as a comedy. And, the circumstances that these three men are under in this play are, they're pretty high stakes, but they're human. And I think the play is relatable to anybody who's got close friends. And it is a really, really fun evening. And it's a short evening. Yeah. So
it is like the definition of situational comedy, and it couldn't be further from acting like you're on a sitcom. Like it's what we're doing is so specific, and I feel like we're calibrating. We're just all of these lines that Yasmina has written are ripe with interpretation, because you could be super angry from the get, you could be masking your anger but saying the lines in a pithy, cutting way. Like it's not laid out for you. And so, but then if you start down this path and you've calibrated it in this direction, then suddenly it goes off the rails and you think, well, now this doesn't make sense. And so we're all three like mapping it all out together with such specificity and like really getting to the heart of like why and what does it mean and the emotional stakes behind everything. And then I sort of remember at the end of it like, oh, but I think the audience is gonna be laughing a lot. We're not rehearsing this as if it's this big comedy that we're doing. And so if anything, I'm more nervous and scared for preview period, because we're not structuring this to like hold 3 beats for a big laugh that's inevitable there at all. And so if they start laughing, I don't even know what's gonna happen. And I hope they laugh, because that's a big part of it. So it's an interesting tightrope for me at the moment. And that's, I think, what's exciting about theater, is watching people really exist with heightened stakes that you can relate to and find funny, even though it's not meant as a comedy.
Yeah. James, for you.
Look, it's one of those great plays. It's always been a play. The original London production ran for 8.5 years and would change the cast every 3 months. So if you grew up at, around that time was where I didn't live in London, I lived out in High Wycombe, but would come into London, I would see this poster and you'd see, oh my God, they're doing it now. And oh my God, these three are doing it, and it became, it's so exciting. And so, I don't know, if someone had told me then, in 28 years time, you're going to do this play again with 2 actors that you just love and admire, and you're going to play this part that Alfred Molina did in New York and Ken Stott did in London, and so many great people have done since. It's an absolute dream come true. I really couldn't be. There's just nowhere else I'd rather be, and there's nothing else I'd rather be doing, and that's the absolute truth.
What have rehearsals been like? You're working with one of the finest directors, with Scott Ellis. First of all, how does he keep you all from not cracking up? in the room, but you know, you're like a family already. This is the great thing of just watching you all like take pictures out there and everything else. Like these guys have been together for a long time. They would be friends.
Yeah, well, you'd hope so.
Yeah.
You know, it is a story about three guys who've been friends for a very long time, and Scott is wonderful. You know, Scott's directed so much great talent over the years. I mean, so much great talent, and like all over the map, but some pretty heavyweight actors he's gotten to direct. And so, you know, you just know from Jump Street you're going to be in good hands. And he's just really good at letting us have fun and play in the room. And we've been doing that from day one. He's perfectly happy being the butt of the joke, which he is a lot of the time. And he's just, you know, he's got a good tight grip on what the play is about and how it needs to move, and it's been real good alchemy there in the room. Yeah.
He has two jobs, Scott Ellis. He has to direct us within the script and as characters, but he's also simultaneously cultivating our actual friendship, because you know, he's directing us individually, but he's allowing a freedom where we can communicate with each other and go on tangents and tell jokes and stories, which kind of surprised me because I thought it would be more, okay guys, let's get back to page whatever. But I think spending half an hour in the middle of rehearsal, like sharing stories and laughing about it, is bonding us in a way that he totally allows, that is making, I think, it feel much more authentic.
Yeah, he's an extraordinary director because I think he really understands tone. And we had a really amazing week about, was it 5 weeks ago? Something like that? About 5 weeks ago, I came to New York and we sat in a room for 4 days with Yasmina Reza, the playwright who Scott had called and said, look, would you come and do this? And she came with her brother Jean-Philippe, and the six of us just sat round a table reading the play, talking about the play. We were able to ask questions to Yasmina. Scott would tell us his vision and what he saw. You know, this was, and it was a really vital process before you ever stand up and start thinking about blocking and where's the painting going to be and is the sight lines right, and you're quite blocked there and there's a log jam behind this coffee table. It was a really necessary time. And that's all Scott. Mm-hmm. That's his genius, is going like, when we get in a rehearsal room, it's going to become about this. But let's do 4 days where we just talk about it. And we'd all go and eat together at lunch. And that's the genius of him, I think.
It's really well constructed, this play. And again, I can't help but think, if you've been in friendships for 20 years plus, it's just going to be familiar to you. It's going to track for you on some level. The kind of, just the kind of the roles that we play in our friendships. It's not something you like to dwell on, but if you were to dwell on where you stand in a relationship with your friend, I think you would be surprised. And I think it is a surprise. The play is a surprise. I remember sitting there going, oh my God, is this going to be me and my friends when I was 25 years old or whatever I was when I saw it. And it just made me question all my friendships, my friends, and, all of those interpersonal dynamics that we have, from the most casual encounters with them to the more serious encounters with them. And I think all of that makes for just a really entertaining night at the theater. I think it's the reason you want to go and have a good night at the theater.
What's the answer? The older version of you, when you see it now, are
complicated.
you one of those guys?
It's complicated. I am one of those guys. I'm all three of those guys. I've been all three of those guys at some point in my life.
Same.
Coming back to the theater, you always do it. You work on TV and film, but you always find the time. You've been the longest away because, of course, you couldn't come because of your TV show or whatever else. But tell me why you all return to the theater. What is it?
Oh, it's been my dream as a child to work on stage. I was really lucky. When I was a kid, I was like a latchkey kid. I was a single mom. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere, and there was a theater. I went to Catholic school, and there was a theater group connected with the church. I don't know, I'm telling the story, but anyway. But I was a very, very, very influential person in my life at the time, who was like this local acting legend. You know, he was like, you know, he would direct all the plays, he would star in all of them, and he cast me at a very young age in a play, and I just got the bug, and I became obsessed with the theater. And there's no place I'm happier than in a rehearsal room. I love it so much, and I don't even think about the audience. It's almost like the audience. We get into the theater, and then I start to, you know, I get excited all over again. Yeah, and it never ends from night to night. I love going to work in a way that I don't with the others. It's the way I'm built. I love it. I think it's the medium for me, and I will never stop acting on stage.
Yeah. I think watching something live is just more profound than watching something on a screen. And so I love going to see things live, and when you're performing in it, there's just this energy exchange that is so real. And in a musical, it's sometimes masked by, you can't really stop. The music's playing, you sing the song, the music continues, you're off, other people are on, and so you hope that the alchemy has created something that at the end they love and applaud, and it's lovely. In a play like this energy exchange will be tangible, and we're fighting, and they'll be laughing or not, and I really am excited by getting to do that, by getting to stand there every single night, kind of naked, emotionally. And
You're doing it naked?
yeah, yeah, the matinees.
Oh, all right.
You know, for the other people.
We got to sell tickets, man.
For you, coming back to the theater.
Look, it's the I think it's the best of the art forms. It's the best storytelling art form there is. Where else are you now today, hostage to a story? Almost never. Almost never. The TV's on here, and I'm on my phone here, and so to be completely hostage to a story and see a beginning, a middle, and an end. The great thing about this play is that it's about 95 minutes with no intermission. So it couldn't have been built more for today's audiences, even though it was written 30 years ago. And I love telling stories. I love putting on a show. I love being in front of an audience. I love the exchange that's between the 900 people there. I love a day with a point. I love a day with an absolute point. You know, the tickets, when we used to go to the theatre probably once or twice a year as a family, and those tickets would sit on our fireplace, on the mantelpiece for months, and we'd be going to see Starlight Express or, you know, Phantom of the Opera or something like that. And the idea that everybody comes together for 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. or 7:30 or whenever Broadway starts now. It used to be 8, I don't know. But we, you know, crew, stage managers, props, cast, musicians, if it's a musical, follow spot operator, audience, playbill, ushers, everybody. You come together, you tell a story, and it's done, and you come back and do it again the next day. And it's a privilege. And to do it in New York, well, I've had the best times of my life here, my professional life here in this city doing plays. It's a privilege. I consider it to be the pinnacle of your life as an actor.